Bonjour, basketball lovers, hoop heads, and heroes of the hardwood. It's Trent Bice here. You are listening to the Talking Ball podcast. And hey, look, I am not going to lie. I have not been on a very good picking streak. So I figured the best way to determine who is going to win Game 5 of the NBL Hungry Jacks Grand Final Series, let's just call the best basketball brains I know and get their input on it. Our special guests include two-time National MVP of the ABA, now NBL 1, and father of Dyson, Dash and Kai, Ricky Daniels. We also have former NBL Rookie of the Year runner-up Cam Rigby, who was a Wollongong Hawk, and someone who played against the Wollongong Hawks in the Grand Final Series, Chris Novak, when he was with Townsville. Former Bendigo Braves coach David DJ Hogan. We've got the host of the NBL and NBL Overtime, Felix von Hof, who was sitting in an airport whilst he took our call. We've got NBL analyst KARL BESTON, and then of course, for a little different perspective, we have a very special guest, my mother, Rosemary BICE. Hope you enjoy this pod. It's a fun one. Let's get into the grand final.
Hey mate, how are you?
Chris Novak, former Townsville Croc, Cairns Taipan, Bendigo Braves champion.
Yes.
Welcome to the pod.
Lost the Wollongong Hawks, now ILLAWARRA.
You did.
2001.
To Damon Lowry's team back in the day.
Yeah.
You've been watching the NBL finals. What are your thoughts so far?
Yeah, not a bad game. Not bad games. 4 games so far. All the away teams have won, so I'm going to go with the away team. No home team has won, so the United will win this game.
7 in a row, the away team has won in this grand finals in the NBL. And
you know I'm not a betting man. I don't like that sort of stuff. But if I was, United will win this game by 25 or more points.
25 or more. Give us a final score roughly.
115 to 90.
115 to 90. That would suggest overs because the line is the total is 180.
Yeah, that's overs, big time.
And where are we?
Big time.
Yep.
It'll be Dellavedova MVP of the playoffs.
Yep.
And he'll get now he's got every ring you can think of. He'll have more.
Very good.
Don't know what else to say. It's pretty simple, really.
Yep.
No fouling.
Shea Lee?
What's happening? Shea Lee will be back. Concussions, a couple of days, you get over that.
Is that the difference? Is that the difference?
No. They just stuffed up the last game, and they'll be right this game. Fouling out, and I don't know what Trey's, what's his name?
Trey KARL III. George Earl KARL III.
Yeah, no, he's done. So it'll be a whitewash all over. And I'm being generous with the 90. They might get to about 82.
Yeah, well, ILLAWARRA have won its last 12 games when they've allowed less than 80 points.
Yeah. So they ain't going to get their ring this year. It'll be United, and Dellavedova will be able to hang his 2016 ring next to the 2025 ring.
Very nice. And speaking of rings, you coaching the kids at the moment?
2001.
What's that, sorry?
Lost the ring in 2001 to Wollongong, yes.
No, you got a ring in 2005?
Yes, we did.
And 2004, did you?
No, I was
Mount
at Knox
Gambier?
in 2004. No. Sorry, I was at Mount Gambier in 2002. Knox in 2004 and lost to Northwest Tasmania Sean Redditch in 2004.
Yeah, but you were with Mount Gambier in 2002?
2002 Mount Gambier, and I think we got to the semi-finals with Lee Lampley, who his brother played in the NBL.
Sean Lampley. I remember Sean Lampley.
Yeah, his brother. Yep,
that's it.
Yeah, so.
Yep, we'll have you on for a proper breakdown podcast, like in-depth one later in the year. How about that?
We'll see. The fee for this one was a little bit cheap, but if the fee goes up, so does my time.
Yeah, okay. Well, the fee is a couple of Woodstock cans in your dad's camera case that he sneaks into the games.
He still brings that to the local domestic games.
The under 12 girls, yeah. Are you coaching any finals this weekend?
No finals. Junior country champs, 11th of April we start in Bendigo. So our team is in the champs division. Found out today, so we're ready to rock and roll. Mid-April, try and be one of few Bendigo teams that move on to the next round. I think the 16 girls, they won it. couple of weeks ago. Ben Caruana's team won this one last year with the 14 girls, but hopefully we can get a 12 girls in there.
Yep, very good. All the best with it, mate.
All right.
Last one, though. All this talk about Bryce Cotton being the Ducks.
This is overtime money, yep. So this is 15 Woodstock cans, yes.
All this, the talk about Bryce Cotton being the Ducks nuts import-wise. Tell us about the best import you played with, because they talk about Leroy Loggins, but another guy with an alliteration initials, gets a bit overlooked.
Well, I reckon if you look it up, they'll say Rob Rose is one of the best imports ever to come through. If he won the 2001, he would have been probably up there, but we didn't win it that year, and he
got 92, they got the grand final
that year. He was 36 years old that year. He got the MVP, and he got a couple of rings earlier. And then obviously Townsville fizzled out a couple of years later, so he sort of had to retire. But it's probably the best import, Rob Rose.
Do you know where Rob Rose?
But I reckon you have to put Cotton above him.
Do you know where Rob Rose is right now?
I think he's still in Townsville. Yep.
Okay, living the dream.
I think he's still in Townsville. Yep, loves his red wine.
Yep.
And he's an absolute machine. Just would not stretch. Never lifted. Rocked up to games. Would literally just put his socks on. Never even strapped his ankles, believe it or not. So there's a little thing for your podcast. Rob Rose played all those games in NBL. Didn't even strap his ankles and just played and just knew how to ball.
All right. Well, you strapped a lot more than just your ankles. Thanks for taking the time. All the best on the weekend.
All right. See you, mate.
See ya.
Bye.
Hello.
Felix Van Hof. It's Trent Bice. How are you?
Good. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, not too bad. What are you up to?
Just hanging around at the airport.
Oh, what are you doing at the... Oh, of course. What are you doing at the airport?
I was doing doing UFC stuff today. Volkanovski.
Okay.
Coming back now.
Felix Van Hof about to board to go to the Gong for the grand final. Thanks for coming on the pod, mate. What is your prediction?
No worries, brother. Thanks for having me. You know what? Well, since every road team's won in every single game, it's going to be very hard for me to go against that. But I am. No, actually, I'm not, because it's Melbourne United and they are the road team still. But no, with Sam falling out with his Achilles, I think it's very, very... You almost got me.
You're flip-flopping more than a thong, buddy, on the sand up there, mate.
No, I'm in the airport, so I've got to be nice and quiet. I just think with Sam falling out with the Achilles, it's easy. They can win the second half, because, it's tough to make late changes at that point. But when you've got Wednesday to Sunday to prepare for a team without their starting centre and, Trey Calaby plays, he's still going to be on one leg. So I think it's going to be very, very tough, and I think Melbourne United will run over him late.
Who's your tip for MVP?
Oh, well, if Illawarra win, I think, shockingly, it'll be the first person from the bench to do it in a long time. I think Will Hickey.
Thank you.
Who's probably the front runner, because people got to remember these things are voted 3-2-1, and I think Will Hickey's polled in every single game.
I did not realise that. Thank you for enlightening us on that one.
Yeah, so it's a 3-2-1 sort of system, and I think he's definitely
after each game. Is it 3-2-1?
After each game from the panel, so I think that's definitely going to work in his favour.
Is that just for the grand final series or for the whole playoffs?
Just for the grand final series.
Yep. Okay, gotcha.
Yep, so it's just for the grand final series. And then Delhi, if Melbourne get up, he's just been the only one that's been consistent. And usually, and I do like the way that it's voted that way, because it rewards the players that haven't just had one or two massive games.
Yeah.
It rewards the people who have gotten in there for the ones and twos and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly. It's not just narrative based.
That 100%.
Yeah. When can we catch you in action?
I'm back online Sunday in the game, 2:30.
So,
you were on air at 2.
Pre-game at 2?
Pre-game at 2, jump on board.
And then will we get a post-game as well?
Yeah, post-game NBL Now will be live from the arena.
On YouTube?
We get it all happening, yep. And I'll be tired, because I'm coming back to go to Illawarra today for the UFC. And then I'm coming back for a show Saturday morning, and then I'm going to go back for the game.
Oh, so you're up there flying...
Too much back and forth.
So you're up there flying down here?
No, I'm flying back to Melbourne for a show in the morning.
Yeah, so you're in New South Wales at the moment?
I am coming to you live from...
I had it the other way around. I thought you were on the way up.
No. I move around. I try not to stay in the one place too long, otherwise they'll catch me.
You talking about your girlfriends again?
One off.
Good on you. What's the event this weekend? Tomorrow?
No, I did the UFC filming today up at Volkanovski's house.
Yep.
And then I've got the racing show tomorrow in Melbourne, and then I'm straight back up. Everyone's getting here on Saturday. Excellent.
All right, love your work, nice. Felix.
Easy.
Thanks for taking the time. All the best.
I'll see you soon, bro.
See you, bye.
See you.
Cam Rigby.
Brenton.
Would you like to dribble some knowledge?
Oh, I have some opinions. Don't know about knowledge. I
Okay.
don't have much of that left.
Recurring guest, Cam Rigby, former Wollongong Hawk. Was it Wollongong or Illawarra when you were there? You were Wollongong?
Well, I was a Wollongong Hawk, but still a Hawkie. Yep.
Still a Hawkie? Yep. Prime Athletes, thanks for coming on the pod, Cam. What's your pick for the game?
It's a tough call. If things go according to form, United should turn around and win a road game. But who can tell with this series? Imports out, defenders out, bigs out now. Shooting woes, tough defense. It's had it all, and it's a really tough one to call for Sunday.
Well, the last 7 games in the NBL Grand Final Series have been won by the away team. That is crazy.
It is crazy. And looking from the outside, you never can tell whether it's nerves, it's fear, it's the comfort of the home team relying too much on home cooking. You don't know what the trigger is, but whatever it is, it's going wrong for all the home sides.
So you've played up at the Gong. How can they make it right?
Make some shots. Play with the same sort of
Make shot. Yeah. Put the ball in the basket.
Basketball's a simple game, Trenton. It's put the round thing in the round thing more times than the other team.
Yeah.
People try and overcomplicate it, but no, they've got to maintain the intensity, and no doubt they'll do that in front of the home crowd. The WEC is a very, very fun place to play. Love playing there, and a lot of visiting teams actually enjoy that atmosphere. A purpose-built 5,500 seat stadium that's really good for basketball, and the fans are great. They're always right behind their guys, and no doubt they'll come out in their droves. They've got to maintain the energy. They've got to keep scrambling to stand on Golding's feet, not let him get going. Melbourne's got a lot of weapons, but if they maintain their really disruptive energy, they're in with a chance, which we saw the other night.
Well, with that energy, Davo Hickey, I've been most impressed by him all season. Actually, I've been impressed by him since he dunked on our friend Bryce Kieran's head at the Prant Summer Jam. But he's been a weapon. But with the injuries coming in and out, with obviously we've got KARL, Shea Illy, who was the team's MVP, probably, if not the best, one of the best defensive players. Did he get the defensive player of the year?
He's won a couple of them. I think he got it this year.
Yeah. So bringing him back in, and then with Froling going out on the other side, it's hard to think Illawarra can win this. How are they favoured at home?
Well, I've got no idea, but based on the fact they got it done the other night, so all of those people that are predicting Wollongong getting it done, they must have watched on Wednesday, because no KARL. Froling was out early, which is a real shame. He's been a ripper the last few years. He's been great for them. How they band together as a unit and scramble enough defensive energy to hold the highly credentialed, powerful United scoring unit to sort of a lucky to get to 71 points in the end with a few late buckets. But no, it was absolutely bizarre on Wednesday night.
TJ Hogan said that he spotted your face in the crowd, and that you are part of the one. DJ said that you are now one with the Gong. Is what I was trying to get at.
I got together with a couple of former Hawkies. I caught up with Glenn Saville, Damon Lowry, Matt Shanahan, Luke Doherty, AJ Ogilvie was there, Oscar Foreman was there, and all their partners, those who live up in the Gong. I was invited to a reunion of sorts. Mostly it was the guys that won the championship in 01, but some of them were guys that I played with. So Sav got in touch, and I was able to join in with them and sit in the crowd and had a great time catching up with them. And basically enjoying vicariously through them, stealing a big road win for Hawk Nation.
What was some of the banter going on with those guys?
Not ideal for public consumption, but there's a reason that group still remains friends. Actually, no, I forgot Axel Dench was there. I didn't get to play with Axel. Played against Axel for a long time, college included. So he was one of the other faces there. No, it's just a good bunch of guys that have lived in a close-knit, large-scale country town for years and become part of the community up there. And no, it's awesome. Lots of fun. A couple too many beers, but no, it was a great night. A couple of guys I hadn't seen in a long time, but it was awesome. It was great fun. Dreading that I can't go up there this Sunday. Was invited to go up and join the mayhem once again, but too much work and stuff on down here. But no, the place is going to be rocking up there on Sunday.
It will be a great one. And for those it's actually one of the few stadiums I haven't been to before, Cam. Can you just describe what it's like playing in Illawarra?
Oh, it's awesome. The community is fantastic.
Is it like a Bendigo type an NBL 1 almost, or is it a city like?
It's a very large scale country town, and I think I'm just guessing from my opinion. I think they like looking at it that way. The rivalry extends larger than the sporting rivalry with Sydney. It's a cultural rivalry. It's working class versus large scale corporate. Country town versus big city, and I think they hang on to that and revel in it. The stadium itself is amazing, purpose built for a smallish community, 5,500. But does get really loud. The location is probably the best I've ever seen in Australia. It's 50 metres from the sand, if that. It's hanging on the side of their football stadium, their rugby stadium up there. The car park is literally bordered by the sand, and the other side of the sand is the Pacific Ocean. It's amazing. It's right on the coast, and it's a fantastic place to live. I was lucky enough to be there for a couple of years, and it's awesome. So no doubt the whole entire region's going to get behind the boys and hope for a big one. And if they do get the job done, it's going to be quite festive with that group of guys.
We had Chris NOVAK on earlier, who mentioned Robert Rose as the best import he's ever played with. There's a lot of talk about Bryce Cotton at the moment. Is there anyone that stands out that you played with that may have been overlooked?
Imports that I played with some great ones. I really enjoyed the way Dave Thomas goes about his basketball.
Yep.
It's a cliche, but he's a jack of all trades, a long athletic 3-man, shot pretty well, defended really well, rebounded really well, really high IQ.
Yeah, Michigan State kid. Yeah,
exactly right. Really super versatile, and it's great when you get an imported player that's got a work ethic. Yep. Not all of them do. Mm-hmm. So those ones really stand out, and that's why he had such a long career here in Australia. Really enjoyed our time in Canberra when he and Mike Chappell would go head-to-head. Two really high-class, talented guys, exceptional on the offensive. Mike was as smooth an offensive operator as I've seen, and then when DT locks in defensively, those two going at it in training was good fun. Other imports that I've played with, I would have loved to have seen what Corleone Young could have done.
Oh yeah,
if he stayed healthy. The stuff he was doing in Canberra before he tore his Achilles in game 1 was amazing. An athletic specimen, but also a good basketball player.
Yep.
He would have done amazing things. But small doses of highlights from a bunch of different imports that I played with. But those are the ones that stand out initially.
Yep.
Dave Thomas's work rate and KY's potential.
Excellent. All right. Just to wrap up. What's your final score prediction and MVP for the grand final?
Oh, interesting. I'm on the fence, and I've got Wollongong history, but I've got some mates attached to United as well. I hope just for the town, I hope Wollongong does get it done and breaks the road game streak and gets one done. I think the party in the Gong would be amazing. And if they do that, who would it be? Probably Harvey gets the MVP if he has a good game. I
would say, mate, I'm giving it to Hickey. He has been the dog all season. He's on the best fives on the floor. His name always comes up. The best two guys on the floor, his name always comes up. I think this is weird, but for some reason, I would not be surprised if an NBA team takes a flyer on him because of the way he plays and the connections with the coach.
His energy is fantastic. His endeavour's great. He's athletic by sort of local Australian standards. I'm not sure he can compete athletically, and I don't know this. I'm not sure he can compete athletically on an international scale. But I'd love to see him get an opportunity if he does. I don't know. Him jumping that far is an interesting one. I hadn't thought about it. Don't know.
Yeah, well, that's just me just throwing a real loose stick out to the ocean, but
a curveball. Yeah,
but if you look at what it was, my thinking on that was that if you look at how guys are in the NBA and they want like the Daly type energy, that's what Hickey brings.
Yep. And
he is like kind of that ruthless, like relentless type player that you might even just give. He doesn't look like an NBA player. He doesn't play like an NBA player, but I think he could you see him coming off the bench for like 4 minutes in the second quarter for a team like the Boston Celtics or the Warriors in a grand final series? 100%.
With the way the modern game's played, with everyone needing to be able to shoot, I'm not sure his jump shot gets it done yet.
Oh, yeah. I'm more talking about just that doggedness and that energy.
Oh, if they're looking for an enthusiastic defender, then give him a go. I don't know if his skill set translates yet. Decision-making, turnovers at key times that result in live ball turnovers. He's had a few too many of those at key times.
All right.
But in terms of energy and defensive tenacity, it might get a look, by all means.
Yeah. Well, hope he does. And so who did you say MVP?
Harvey. I think if Wollongong get it done, Harvey hits big shots at big times.
But how does Wollongong get it done without falling?
By committee. I think Lockie Aldrich needs to be... he needs to play big. He needs to play smart, stay out of foul trouble. They need a good game out of Darius Days. He's got to play big consistently.
Yeah.
The way they sort of did it by committee in the second half the other night, if they can sort of duct tape a front line together for 3.5 quarters, they've got a chance, which they showed us the other night. But then again, Melbourne's powerful. If they come out, and they could potentially come out and score 120 if they're hitting shots and all their offense is running on all cylinders. It's an interesting pick 'em.
Would you expect this to be fast or a slug fest? Or with Illy back and so there's no Illy. Illy's back, so his energy's going to be a boost. There's no Froling, so Illawarra are going to have to play smaller and faster and quicker.
Yep. It could be, but their willingness to defend on the other end and really disrupt what Melbourne United want to do, they will want to get out and run. But if it turns into the scrappy arm wrestle that it was on Wednesday, then who knows? I would love it for spectators' spectacle to get up and down and score up in the hundreds. Yep. But it's a tough one to call.
Your final score?
Wollongong by 6 in a sort of mid to high 80s, low 90s sort of score.
So what, 93-87?
Something like that with Harvey getting the nod if he hits big shots.
No worries. And what about the stat that I brought up earlier with DJ was Melbourne this season a 7-0. Sorry, before the Tyler Harvey shot, before the grand final series, Melbourne was 7-0, so it's now 7-1 in games decided by 5 points or less. Illawarra were 2-6, so now 3-6 in games decided by 5 points or less.
Interesting. So, well, as we've seen with trends, you can throw out trends when it comes to this particular final series. So.
But that's not necessarily a trend because that's decision making in the clutch.
Yeah, true. But like we've said, this current final series with its different lineups, it's guys coming in and out, it's injuries now.
Yeah.
So past trends, we're talking about almost not completely different teams, but two very different lineups with key pieces being shuffled out. So I'm not sure how much trends go into it. I'm more of a believer in what have you done in the last 5 minutes, let alone the last 10 games.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting coaching-wise what decisions they make to plug the holes on both sides.
Well, you are very good at plugging many a hole. Say g'day to the barman and also to your lovely partner. And as you plug the hole in your face, and we'll keep it at that. Fill it up with beer and be merry. As anything else you would like to add?
Nah, that's it, mate. Always good to have a chat, and let's all enjoy hopefully a good show on Sunday.
Where will you be watching?
At this stage, looks like Sporting Globe here in town. There's a few of us ex-NBL guys getting together to watch the spectacle.
Sporting Globe Knox, is it?
No, a little closer to town. It looks like Sporting Globe Richmond at this stage. I think there's an official/unofficial United watch party there, but we've also booked a table sort of separate to them, so there'll be a few of us down there watching an interesting game, I hope.
Bon appetit, Mr. Rigby. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Prime Athletes.
Thank you, mate. I'll talk to you soon.
No worries. All the best.
Cheers, mate.
Hello.
Hey, it's Trent. How are you?
Hey, mate. How are you?
Not too bad. Would you like to give a quick prediction for the pod?
Yeah, Melbourne United. I said Melbourne United in 5 before the series.
Yep.
I'm saying Melbourne United in 5 now. Just the injuries and all that. You know, it's hard to come back after. It's hard to recover after such an emotional win for Illawarra the other night. Hard for them to win again.
Yeah. Who's the MVP?
Matthew Dellavedova.
Yep. And what's the margin, do you think?
It's tight. Melbourne by 6.
Cool. Well, that's interesting because Melbourne were, until the Harvey shot, as we mentioned earlier, Melbourne was 7-0 during the season on games decided by 5 or less, and Illawarra were 2-6 in those same games until that Harvey shot. So, interesting.
And what is it? The record of the home teams winning all the last few
7 in a row. Going back to the Tassie series. So sorry, the road team has. Yep.
I don't think home court will matter too much, to be honest. So that's my prediction. Melbourne. I said Melbourne United in 5 before the playoffs even started in the grand final to beat Illawarra. So I'm sticking with it now to pick a perfect bracket.
Perfect. All right. Appreciate your time, mate. And I tell you what,
done deal, my brother.
If you go back and look at our podcast from the start of the year, we're going to have to do that again next year. But we weren't too bad on a few things, even with the Southeast Melbourne. Like I was right.
Southeast Melbourne top 4.
I was right that they would fire the coach would be fired. Then I kind of gave you a bit of shit. You didn't like it.
They'd make top 4.
But then you came right. Then you came right around. So there we go.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah,
everyone's a winner, mate.
That's it, mate. Appreciate your time. Where are you watching the game?
No dramas, brother. Too easy, mate.
Where will you watch it?
I'm just going to watch it at home, my man.
No worries. Enjoy it. Have a good one.
You too, brother. See you, mate.
Thanks, KB.
Bye.
DJ Hogan, former Bendigo Braves coach and coach of many young superstar in country Victoria and former teammate of young Matt Dellavedova. Well, he's not young anymore. He also took the Bendigo Braves to a championship game and you won a title as a player. DJ, thanks for coming on the pod.
Yeah, thank you, Trent. Thanks for having me.
You've been watching very closely. We know you've actually spent some time with the Illawarra a couple of years ago prior to the Jason Tatum era up there working a little bit with the team. Is there still a little bit of the remnants when you were up there?
Yeah, definitely. So Matt Flynn, who was up there, who was head coach at the time, is now back an assistant for Tatum and obviously doing a great job this year with their group. The few of the stalwarts are still there. You had Todd Blanchfield after his stint in Perth has come back. Dan Gritter and Sam Froling were up there at the time that I was there. So, yeah, still a strong connection.
Very good. Was Tatum there when you popped up, or wasn't there yet?
No, he was a year or two after. He came after Gorgon, which was,
Yeah.
Gordon Jackman. So,
Gotcha. Yep.
yeah, so a little bit after me.
But you played with Daly back as a generals on the A grade courts.
Yeah, well, we played a bit of junior squad together. He played and I sat on the bench and cheered him on.
Yep.
Because he was far more talented than I was. But yeah, he tremendous child with an extreme work ethic from a young age, which has obviously put him in good stead for the rest of his career.
Well, he was doing the heavy lifting, not just in the Bendigo squad days with yourself, but Ian Clark, who I think very highly of, had as many threes in the last game as you did. The first time he's gone 0 from downtown in the finals. He went 0 for 5. He's a big X factor in the series. I think when he's ticking, Melbourne are ticking, but they've also got Shea Illy back. What is your pick, and how much do you think those two guys influenced this outcome?
Oh, massively. You can see in the last couple of games that Daly or Clark or even Goulding at times, a bit of fatigue has set in, and that fast break style that the Hawks play, and trying to keep up with Hickey and Greta, Tyler Harvey, Lee, all those guys, the pace that Illawarra play at is breakneck speed, and Melbourne have tried to match that, and you can perhaps see that it's worn them down at times. I know they've won 3 out of the 4 last quarters, but I think Daly was spent in the last game. So having Illy back as a 2-time reigning defensive player of the year is just a huge influence for any team. So I think that gives them a bit of the edge, but I guess we'll wait and see. And
he was their team's MVP this season. But as most loyal listeners to the pod know, when you hear this, that's when the tips are coming. We've got Melbourne has covered the line in 9 games as an underdog following a loss.
Yeah.
And Illawarra has won its first quarter in its last 10 home games. Just a couple. The line is minus 2.5 as we speak in favour of Illawarra. Total on Bet365 is 178.5. On Sportsbet, it's 180. So you shop around depending on which way you want to go there.
No worries. And have you given your bet so far? Have you given your bold prediction of Sunday's game?
No, but people can see which way I'm leaning based on my questions, I believe.
Right. Yes, that is fair enough. And you're probably responsible gambling comes into it. But yeah, I in my opinion, I think Melbourne get the job done. I think it will be tight to start. And obviously the crowd in Illawarra is there. They may not be the biggest in numbers, but they sure make up for it in noise and perhaps by support of their local team. So I think it starts close, and then I think Melbourne wear them down, and a few of those veterans start to stand up for Melbourne.
What about Jack White? 13 points in 5 of his last 6 away games, 8 or more rebounds in 4 of his last 5 games at Illawarra. He had they've really been talking about the law, like manifestation and the law of attraction and the power of words. The NBL media has absolutely been lambasting him, his mental state as far as shooting free throws. It hasn't helped, has it?
No, definitely not. But as you know, and anyone who's played the game, you can find yourself in those funks, especially at the free throw line.
When people tell you you're in a funk, though, it makes it worse.
Oh, 100%. And, you know, there's a new stat doing its rounds in the NBL that I was just sort of made about this, and you might watch Melbourne United, you can watch Illawarra do it. They won't actually line up for the first free throw.
Yeah.
And the statistics show there's no one lining up for the first free throw. The person will shoot at a lesser percentage. So It's amazing how those things come into it. The players know that. They're aware of that.
Yep.
So all of a sudden it does start to eat at you. But, I mean, Jack especially is one of the best athletes in Australia. I think he holds the record at Duke for the most consecutive threes, made it like 113 or something absurd like that. So he knows he should know that he has all the talent to do it. For him, as everyone has pointed out, it's purely between the ears. So hopefully he can sort that out, because being a good country kid from Traralgon, there's not many better people than him.
Who's impressed you the most this series?
Oh, you know what? I am biased to Daly just because I know how my body feels at my age, and he's even younger than me, and he's put it through absolute torture, and to still come out the way he is awfully impressive. But I'm probably the same as everyone else. What Will Hickey has done compared to his normal season output, and perhaps past seasons, this game style, the team, everything suits him. So he has probably been the one to impress me. But yeah, the series is open. I mean, even my boy Dan Gritter, to go and have a large series of DNPs and then be like first sub in the NBL do or die game 4. Like, that's tremendous credit with the injuries that he's gone through the past 2 years. So yeah, you really got to respect those guys and what they've been through.
Came down to the two coaches. Which one do you trust the most?
Vickerman, because he's spent more time in the league. Don't get me wrong. Tatum's impressed me at times, but yeah, Dean's experience, then Reece Carter, Dave Barlow, Jacob Chance there. It's fascinating. I think Jacob Chance has almost added in a different element to their offense this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's a very clever coach. Obviously, had great success down in Tasmania with that program with Scott Ross. So the minute changes that he's been able to add in, I think that can probably, I don't know if they'll admit it, but some of Goulding's big games this year were just minute changes in their offense, in my opinion. Yeah. And whether they've come from Jacob Chance or they came from Dean himself, it's been impressive to see.
Yep. And well, one thing I think it's hard not to note coming into this series was that Illawarra were 2-6 in games decided by 5 points or less. Melbourne were 7-0 until that Tyler Harvey shot in game 3.
Yep. I think that's a fantastic stat. You look at maybe in my coaching years, I coached 2 full seasons of adults basketball and made 1 grand final. And, we lost to a very experienced Nuttawatting team, and then Coach Steves in Castlemaine with the CBL, and again we had an emphasis on keeping our experienced players because I think what they add to your younger core is invaluable, and what they can teach them lessons throughout the year takes some pressure off coaching, because all of a sudden you're not trying to coach every possession. And I mean that stat at that 7-0 and until Harvey hits the game winner is really crucial. Like, veterans get it done, and there's a reason veterans are veterans, and they've stayed in the league for a long time. So it speaks high. You see it in the NBA. The NBA does, I think, a far better job than the NBL of almost rewarding those veterans with contracts. And there's guys who sit on NBA rosters that just don't play, but they're only there for their locker room voice, and those guys are worth their weight in gold. And I think we as Australians probably need to do a bit better job of that, of recognising those guys and respecting the careers that they've had, because they've had those for a reason. And I think Melbourne, they're the oldest roster in the league. They got, first team or something like that to have 4 players over 33 or 34 in a grand final series. So to them, it's a credit well deserved, and that's probably why their record is that way in the fourth quarters.
Well, and it also speaks to, I guess, as you mentioned before, about the depth. Like, Illawarra are probably a deeper 1 to 10, but Melbourne 1 to 7 or 8 are probably much stronger, particularly with that experience. And we mentioned earlier about how Dean Vickerman last year, you've got to lose before you can win, and Tassie lost before they won.
Yeah,
it's part of the process. Illawarra didn't beat Melbourne last year. It is their bogey team to a degree, so that's why it's even more interesting with this game. But then also, Chris Goulding, you hear guys like Brad Rose and Derek Rucker saying back in December, Daly shouldn't be shooting 11 shots. You need to run the offense through Chris Goulding. As a coach, can you speak to the value of why you do pace the season out and get the other guys going in those games? And yeah, you might wear a loss by 30 against Cairns, but it's because Krebs has played 15 minutes and Coppins has got some confidence, and speak to that.
Yeah, I think you're 100% right. One thing that I've hopefully always instilled when I was coaching is you don't ever skip steps. So the guys at Castlemaine, especially the young boys, picked on me a bit because I always got A, B, C, D. And for us, D was winning our championship. but we couldn't step past A, B, or C first. So I think, as you've said, there's always a greater plan. And for Melbourne United, there's experienced teams who they did have the advantage of having early wins in the season, so it allows you to do that. But that stuff, as you said, is invaluable. I mean, Coppins is coming in after playing 6 games for the season, I think, and then he's played in the last 2 and been one of the first subs with Illy being injured. Like, that's it's ballsy by the coaching staff. 2, credit to the young kid for getting in there and having a go and holding his own in that time. But as you said, if he didn't get those minutes during that time, during the year where coaches might sacrifice a game or so, and they'll never admit that, but it does do wonders, and it's great someone like yourself can actually see that holistic view of a season rather than perhaps some of the other media or personalities who get a bit blindsided about one game and overreact and they forget the bigger picture.
Well, speaking of the bigger picture, the KARL has had 4 more assists in 6 of his last 7. Tyler Harvey with 15 points in each of his last 3 day games at Illawarra. Is it something to be said about playing a day game? And then to that point, with the game on the line, we know Illawarra are going to Harvey and Melbourne are going to run that sideline play. So how good is the scout on both of those?
Oh, I think it's like anyone. The teams play, 4 times or so throughout the year, and then they're playing in a 5-game series, and after game 5 now. If you don't know the scout, you don't deserve to be on the court, is my opinion.
Yeah.
So if you don't know...
I like John Riley. I like John Riley. I love John Riley as a coach. I want John Riley to be the Perth coach. But that play did hurt me. Don't bring up trauma. No. When you say no to the scout.
Hey? Yeah, correct. It was a number 1 play on the NBL 1 website for a highlight, and they don't know it, and they didn't switch it. Why you don't switch that first cross pick to Daly or make the hard catch from him? They're not going to lob it to Daly in semi-time split. Like, there's a million different ways you could have defended that, and then the next team falls for the same thing. Great cut by Goulding, but I mean,
well, they did it in Sydney and then New Zealand.
Yeah, you've got to be I think players these days, with the scrutiny, with the pay packets that come with that, etc., you've got to be a basketball purist and you've got to love it. I'm not saying you have to watch every game, but
you got to know you need to know that time and situation though. That's
100%.
Like you can forgive a guy for the middle of the second quarter not knowing that like Wong Jung Lee's going to go right, 1 dribble, step back into his left jump shot, but when there's 30 seconds left and Melbourne are inbounding the ball from down below the basket, you know what they're going to run.
Yeah, 100%. And, I mean, analytics to that degree can ruin basketball a bit for some players who perhaps overthink it and don't play their natural game. But the analytics scout these days will tell you if a player prefers they go left 9 times out of 10, they do this, they do that. You have every resource. So I think as a player at this level, there's no excuse. As you said, that scout does come into it. Melbourne should know exactly what they're going to do. In saying that, they haven't come up with a solution for Davo Hickey in transition. So, and they probably didn't have a solution for Sam Froling, and real shame he got injured because I think he was the key for Illawarra.
Yeah.
Melbourne couldn't adjust to those things. Froling had his way with Lee, had his way with Lowe. So it's really disappointing, but I think Melbourne, because they're so good, because they have those veterans, they'll have a better scout in place for Hickey in transition. And obviously the addition of Shea Ely, I think, changes that for them. So I don't know how Illawarra counteract what Melbourne might bring to the table.
What's your final prediction, score and game MVP?
I'm going Melbourne in the double digits, perhaps around 12 to 14. My game MVP, you know what, I think Goulding will get hot, and then I think Daly wins the series MVP. So that's probably where I stand, but happy to stand corrected because, as I said, I have the ties to Illawarra, and I'd love to see a small team win.
If Illawarra win, Hickey's the MVP, right?
With Froling out,
He is anyway. If you look at those Look at the net rating, the way the team plays when he's on the floor. I said it, and I'll say it again. The team is better when David Hickey's out there, and KARL's injury whilst not a good thing, it helped Tatum shorten the rotation, and you need to shorten the rotation at this time of year. Thanks, DJ. Any message for Cam Rigby?
No, just it was great to see his mug on TV the other day.
Beautiful. I'll pass that on.
Thank you.
You're a kind man. Thank you.
Hello, love. How are you?
Good. You're on the podcast.
Sorry?
You're on the podcast.
Am I?
Yes. Who's your prediction for the grand final winner?
Hawthorn? or basketball are you talking?
Yes. The podcast is called Talking Basketball. Wow.
Basketball. Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay, well,
Melbourne versus Illawarra on Sunday.
yes,
at 2:30.
I know. It's up there, yeah. I'm hoping it's United.
Who will get MVP?
Hopefully Delhi.
Oh, okay. How much will they win by?
2 points.
How?
2 points.
2 points. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well,
All right.
we've got about an hour's worth of
And if it's
content from Rigby and DJ and Felix von Hoff and KARL BESTON and Chris NOVAK, and yours could be just the simple answer right there.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Or if it's not Delhi, it'll be that other guy, Lee.
Marcus Lee.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
No worries. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, Mum. Mr. James Daniels.
Brad, how we doing, buddy?
Not too bad. Ricky, how are you, mate?
I'm good. Just out with Dash Man having some tea.
Ricky Daniels, thanks for joining the pod.
No worries. I'm happy to join in. Anything for you, Trent.
Anything for you, Rick? Love your input and insight to the game. What's your prediction for the Game 5 Grand Final on Sunday?
Well, my prediction will be Melbourne United takes out the championship. Look, they played very well over in Illawarra, and I think Illawarra is a great team, but going to be probably undermanned. More so than what they have been in the previous games. So I'll have to tip my hat off to Melbourne United.
And who do you think will get MVP?
MVP? Wow, that's a tough one. I reckon Golden's going to come out and play on a different level.
The consensus so far has been Delhi, so that's a good one.
I know, you said Delhi.
Yep.
Delhi's actually been playing fantastic.
If Illawarra won...
if they're going off of just the one game, I guess I just feel that Golden will have a great game
he's due
on Sunday. But I think Delhi has, probably been MVP for this series because of the way he's played.
Yep.
The last couple games has been incredible.
And when it comes down to the two coaches, is there one that you lean towards more so down, like in, late game decision making?
I think Dean's got a lot of experience there, and he's over the past few years, he's actually been able to make some great decisions, going into in that final quarter, especially if it's needed to draw up a play. I just like, Dane Vickerman on this one.
Well, their record was 7-0 in games decided by 5 points or less. Illawarra's was 2-6 before the Tyler Harvey shot in Game 3. So for the season. So there you go.
I think it's going to be a close game. So if that's anything to go by, then it's going to favor Melbourne.
Where will you be watching it?
It's possible that I'll actually be there.
You're going to go? I was going to ask. Is Dash going to be there as well?
Dash will be there, and I think we'll be there as well. So,
geez, we might have to.
We'll be cheering them on.
We might have to give you a call afterwards and get a direct chicken. What was that? Some chicken? Got some chicken coming.
Exactly. Who's having chicken?
Where are you dining at the moment, Rick?
We're just at the market in Melbourne, Smith Smithburg.
Ah, beautiful. Well,
Yeah,
You-
Dash's favorite burger shop.
Dash's favorite burger shop. What's the go-to burger for Dash? What's his order?
He's got a chicken burger,
Of course.
one that he's taking the pickles off of.
Okay, you eat the pickles?
He's not a pickle man.
He's not a pickle man. All right. Well, thank you for your time. We'll let you enjoy your chicken burger. You can eat the pickles. Say good day to Dash for us, and
will do.
enjoy the game. We might have to get your direct feed from the after game celebrations. Maybe there might be some. You might know where the spots in Wollongong are: win, lose, or draw.
That's right. No, not a problem, Trent. You know, anything for you, buddy.
No worries. Pot no card.
I'll take it.
And actually, we see that Dyson's playing the Warriors at 10 o'clock before the game, so it flows into it nicely on the scheduling.
Yeah, well, I'll be watching both.
Yeah, of course you will. Love you, mate. Thanks for taking the time.
No problem. All right, man.
All the best. Take it out of the
See you.
town.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks again, listeners, for tuning into the Talking Ball podcast. You can also hear each Saturday our basketball preview on the Sideline View with Jono on Gold FM. Thank you to everyone who was on the calls or took my calls today, and hopefully we can help you make some money and picking the grand final winner. And of course, thank you also to Boris Brescia for this beautiful track, which is our theme. Our picks are Melbourne United. We're going to take the under 180, although if it is free flowing, I'm going to kick myself, but I always think the under. I don't know why I've been going overs on the other ones. Take Illawarra first quarter, Melbourne to win. Whoever is leading at half time is a good chance you can do the flip flop, because whoever is up at half has usually been losing these games. So you could just bet live and take whoever is up at the half, take the other team. But we like Hickey to score. I'd go over for Hickey on his rebounds and assists, over on Shea Illy rebounds and assists, and over Chris Goulding will have more than 17 points. I think Ian Clark will have more than 15 points. And I just hit overs on the rebounds, unders on most other players' points. Check out my Twitter at TheTrentBice and at Trent Love on Instagram. Have a great weekend, everyone. It's been a great basketball season. We appreciate it. There's going to be more podcasts coming soon. Peace, love, and hoops. Enjoy the basketball. Enjoy the grand final. Enjoy the college tournament. NBA final starts pumping up. It doesn't stop. The round ball just keeps on rolling. As Cam Rigby said, it's pretty simple. Just put the round thing in the round thing, and the round thing will do the thing. Oh, happy birthday to Sammy Lamaka, 30th birthday. Woo. Oh, and congratulations to Jess and Georgette on their wedding, which I was at last week, which is why there was a dodgy pod last week. It was glorious. All the best times. We'll keep you up to date. Follow us on socials at Trent B Love. Appreciate the time. Peace, love, and hoops. Oh!